Yeah, there are a few people that I know that you know they've been killed out in Afghanistan. Yeah, sorry, yeah, it just that's probably like sort myself out. Sorry. There were days, up and down days. I mean, to be fair, every time you go out on the ground, there's a risk of you dying. There's a risk of, you know, getting shot, getting blown up, getting, you know, driving over an IED or whatever. But you can't have that mindset when you're out there. Like, you have to be positive. You have to just think, I've got a job to do. I'm going to do it. Ultimately, I'm here, you know what I mean, to tell the tales. Everybody joins the military knowing, you know, what the ultimate sacrifice is. Some people unfortunately get unlucky. You know, they're in the wrong place, wrong time. It is really sad to you know, to think that some people, yeah, don't come back, and some people just are unlucky. When I was sort of like last year of school, I knew I didn't like sort of schooling. I wasn't an academic, so I was looking for something to do sort of when I left school. At the cricket club that I used to play at, there was an old guy down there that used to be in the Royal Marines. He gave me a couple of books and said, look, if you're going to join the military, join the Royal Marines. So that was basically how I got to know about them, and then it just stemmed from there really, and that's why I joined the Royal Marines. As a 16-year-old lad straight out of school, very tough, like really sort of tough. Hardest thing probably I've ever done, bar sort of bringing up kids. Yeah, at 16, I didn't really know any different. You know, I jumped straight from school into another institution. So I just got on with it, you know, and just rolled with whatever was thrown at me. And in my sort of head, it wasn't a case of like, I've got a choice of whether I can actually do this or not. It was, I've got to start it, I'm going to finish it. You know, so that was sort of like a motivator. That's what drove me to sort of finish the course. What was really tough about the training was just like the intense sort of like grueling, non-stop, constantly sort of doing hard things all the time, like over and over again. It's you're not really got a rest period, no break from it. You know, it's a six and a half month sort of intense course that it just tests from every sort of, you know, thing from mental to, you know, physical. And me as a 16-year-old, quite a small little petite guy, trying to carry, you know, like a 40, 50 kilogram burden on your back over 10 kilometers, it was quite intense. That was quite tough. Yeah, there was all sorts of different, you know, guys from all over the country and from different countries as well. The group actually started as 60. By the time we finished it, there was only, I think, about 12 or 13 sort of original people that started the course, me included. So there was quite a lot of guys that were around sort of like 30 as well. So like I said to you earlier about being 16, not really having a choice of whether, you know, I'm going to quit or not. They've experienced a bit of civvy life first. So they probably just thought, you know what, it's actually better on civvy street, so I'm going to leave. But you know, there's loads of different reasons why people leave. And I was actually pinged to be a chef. So in the Marines, sort of, if you don't really decide what you're going to do, you know, sometimes you get forced to do something that you don't necessarily want to do. Chef is one of them things, but you know, I can't really knock it because I can, you know, do a bit of cooking nowadays. So that's all good. But I went over there first tour as a chef, and then I was quite lucky actually that I got to become what's called a commando chef. So we went out, you know, into the forward operating bases, and I used to actually, in a place called Kajaki Dam, cook for the whole group that was there, which was about 60 and 70 people. So I cooked for all of them guys on my own, and then during the day when we went on patrols and did operations, I used to join the lads and go and do, you know, the patrols as well, and get stuck in with a bit of the fighting. It was more than sort of hearts and minds, so we were there for more than that. Obviously we wanted to protect the locals from the Taliban infiltrating some of their towns and villages, but ultimately the first tour that we went on, it was when it was really sort of getting hot, getting quite tasty with a lot of the fighting that was going on. That was probably one of my best sort of times of being in the military, being out in Afghan, doing what you join up to do. When you're on operations, it's sort of, you're left to your own devices, you know. You've done all this training, you've become a sort of, you know, Royal Marine, you go out there and you're left to do a job. So that's what I really enjoyed about doing that side of things. I then retrained to become part of the heavy weapons branch. And then, yeah, I knew sort of like within 18 months I'll be back out in Afghanistan doing another tour. When we weren't really doing, sort of any fighting, and there was a bit of sort of downtime, often a lot of the lads, including myself, used to do a bit of sunbathing, fully naked, but we just put a sock on the end of it, get a bit of tanning oil, which was gun oil basically, yeah, and have a bit of sunbathing time. I think I'd achieved a lot of what I wanted to in the military, with 2 tours, of Afghan. I've done sort of like several other, operations and training exercises and parachute jumps and all that sort of stuff. So I thought to myself at that particular moment in time, there were other opportunities in civvy life for me. Obviously I had a family as well, wife and 2 boys, and being in the military, it's not the best, of lives. The first project we actually did, we bought like a chalet bungalow style sort of house, and we knocked it down, and we rebuilt a 4-bedroom sort of like really nice detached house on the land, which was, yeah, an amazing project for a first one. Yeah, it's really, really nice. Pretty small outfit, like we're not massive, only got a couple of guys working for me, and I have to get stuck in quite a lot and do a lot of the grunt, a lot of the dirty work. But yeah, I mean, it's relatively small at the moment, but looking to grow it, over time and yeah, hopefully become sort of decent sort of building company over the next couple of years. In the sort of building trades, there's a lot of problems that need solving. In the military, there's a lot of that, problem solving. You need to think of a task, ahead of time, prep for it, to ensure that it goes smooth. In the building trade, a lot of the time things don't go smooth. So there's always a problem that you face, always a challenge, always need a bit of banter just to get through the day. Yeah, otherwise it could be a boring day when it's raining especially, and digging a trench or something like that. Similar sort of thing, construction, yeah, you always need a bit of banter. Remembrance is just a whole sort of array of all the different wars and all the different conflicts that have happened throughout sort of, our life and beyond. Remembrance to me, like, it's just, yeah, purely just to remember all them guys that have joined the military, and done everything in support of the military to help, our country and other countries be what they are today. I'd like my sons to grow up, knowing what their dad's done, and understand what Remembrance Day is, So we always every year buy poppies and go to Remembrance Day parades and things like that, so that they know what it's all about and don't forget.